Hey guys, let's hear Cypress Semiconductors interview experience from Mithilesh, a student of BITS-Pilani Hyderabad, Embedded Systems Engineering.
Hello friends, I am Mithilesh. I'm currently pursuing MBA in Embedded Systems. So I got placed in Cypress Semiconductors or Infineon Technologies. So actually Cypress Semiconductors got acquired by Infineon Technologies. So it's technically Infineon Technologies. And it came for different profiles like test engineering, design engineering, and production engineering. So I have got placed in firmware design engineering. Basically, the recruitment process includes written test followed by interviews. And Cypress has given CG cutoff of 7, overall CG cutoff of 7, that includes BTech and MTech. And so written test is of 2 hours and then followed by interviews. The interview number of rounds depends. It may be either 4 rounds or 5 rounds. Regarding written exam, we have 4 sections in written test. It includes aptitude and C questions, digital questions, and analog questions. And one more is digital signal processing related questions. It is optional whether if you're a communication guy, you can go for it. And uh, we have to at least write 4 sections among these. And then these four we need to complete these 4 sections within 2 hours. And each section has its own negative marking. And there were 20 questions for each of the sections. So we have to be careful with the negative markings. That is one thing. And they have used the platform called Geeks Assess. And through this platform, you need to generally we need to switch on our camera and we need to present our screen. Other than this, we need to they will provide a link. We need to switch on, you need to open that link through our mobile. And then they'll proctor through our mobile also. So we need to have only one rough sheet, and the mobile should be such that it covers the rough sheet on which we are going to work. And so this is the format in which they will conduct the written exam. And okay, coming to the written test, basically the first section will be aptitude test. And it is of 20 questions, as I have told. So it includes the questions includes topics like time and distance. And there were data interpretation questions. It is a bit time taking, data interpretation questions. And then some questions were on time and work. And some were on logical reasoning. So we may get 2 sets of data interpretation questions. So we need to be careful with that. And yes, this is about aptitude section. And then coming to C section. And in C, okay, I forgot to tell, the aptitude section was, I can say, moderate to tough. I can give the rating from moderate to tough. And coming to C section, in C also has the same type of format with 20 questions. And the major questions were on like preprocessor directives. And some questions were on pointers. And so what are the questions we get in C? Most of the questions were like to find the output, output of the particular code snippet or something. So so this is one thing. And I can say this section is a bit moderate. It is not that easy or not that tough. Um, so so that is about C related questions. Coming to digital section, digital, mostly they asked about sequential circuit, mostly about sequential circuit questions. So and then very few questions on finding the radix. And then some theoretical questions on analog to digital converters and DACs. And yeah, it is there were most of the questions on sequential circuits, regarding finding the frequency of particular clock, or a particular clock at the output of the particular flip flop. So this was the kind of questions I got. And so yeah, this section is also include 20 questions. And it is also of the difficulty is from moderate to tough. uh, yes, this is about digital. And coming to analog questions. Analog, most of the questions were on op amps. Everything they will give any circuits which is made of op amps, and there are certain questions on finding the slew rates of op amp, and there are certain questions on finding the bandwidth for whatever the circuit they have given. So some questions on clippers. But mostly they have covered on op amps. So that is about analog circuits, and some questions I forgot, and some questions they have asked on capacitors. I mean RC circuits they have given and asked us to find the time constant, something like that. So this is about analog, and yeah, its difficulty also I can say it's moderate. It's not that tough and not that easy, and one more section is digital signal processing. It consists of completely of signal system questions. So it depends on individual whether they want to take it or not. Um, and then we'll have negative marking for it, and the negative marking will depend. The number of the negative marking for each of the section will vary. For example, for aptitude it was around zero 0.5, and for C it was it was 1. So so it will vary, but negative marking was there. For written test, I have started preparing. It was 2 months prior to the interview season. Like we used to have summer holidays. From during that time, I have started preparation, and basically for written test, digital, C, and aptitude are are basic questions. I mean, these sections are mandatory for any company. So coming to digital section, first I have gone through Morris menu for concepts, and then I have solved questions related to those concepts from previous gate question papers or any gate material. So I have gone through Morris menu for just for concepts, and yeah, it helped me a lot. If I get any theory questions, I could solve through it, and then and this is about digital. And coming to C, I have few concepts I have gone through Yashwant Kanatkar book. Let us see by Yashwant Kanatkar, and then followed by I have solved the different quizzes and programs in Geeks for Geeks, and Geeks for Geeks is has really helped me in cracking C type questions, and it has varied questions. So Geeks for Geeks is one good source. And then coming to analog section, I have just gone through few concepts in analog, like for regarding op amps, regarding amplifiers. It was just concepts I have gone through, and I didn't follow any particular book, but different gate sources I have followed, and so it is good to have analog knowledge also. That's why I have gone through all this. And then coming to aptitude section, I have done questions in RS Agarwal book. So that's enough regarding aptitude, I think. Coming to my interview, it basically consists of 4 rounds, and there were 3 technical rounds and 1 HR round. So this number of rounds is not fixed actually. So some of the students were having 4 technical rounds and 1 HR round. That is finally 5 rounds. So this is not basically fixed, and uh, so the interview happened on Zoom call, and then. So I will explain about the technical rounds first, and in uh, in the in the first technical round, so I was asked generally about myself and regarding my projects. They have asked brief description about my project, and first technical round, in first technical round there were 2 interviewers, and then and then so regarding my projects. And then he asked, one of the persons has asked about if I have done anything on FPGAs. So I have explained about what are the work I have done on FPGA, and one of my projects were on FPGA, so I explained about that. And then there were questions regarding FPGA, like what type of board I have used, and then what are the communication protocols. Actually, I have interfaced a peripheral sensor to the FPGA board, so they have asked about different communication protocols through which I can interface with the FPGA, and then different regarding JTAGs, and then regarding the internal frequency, clock frequency of FPGA, everything about the board which I have used, they tried to ask. And and then after that, they have asked me about Verilog, whether I am comfortable with Verilog or not. And they asked me to draw a circuit for asynchronous D flip flop, and then asked for Verilog code for that. After that, so what they have done was, like, they tried to tweak what are the project I have done. They have made a problem statement and asked me to write a Verilog code for it. Like, for instance, they have asked me, I am actually capturing some data using the sensor onto FPGA. So they asked me to capture two different data, and then send two at a time. That means each data is captured at two different instances, and then it has to store it, and then you have to hold it in FPGA and then transfer it. So they have given this problem statement, and then asked me to write a Verilog code, and also asked me to draw the circuit for the Verilog code which I have written. And yeah, the overall interview was, it was okay. They were not they were a bit of helping, like, even though you get stuck at somewhere, they're kind of encouraging you. So it was a bit moderate, I can say, the overall interview, the first round of the interview. And they asked some questions about my Verilog code, regarding how the circuit will vary based on the code which I have written. And then yeah, this is all about my first technical round. Yeah. And then coming to the second round, it was, actually, the first round happened for around 50 minutes. Yes. And then coming to second round, I was asked more about my projects. I was asked, they have gone deep inside my projects, one of my projects, on hardware software co-design. So in one of the projects of hardware software co-design, I have made a coprocessor design. So they asked me questions regarding the which language I have used, and actually I have used System C, and they asked why System C, and the difference between System C and Verilog, and they asked about different questions about regarding the performance of my coprocessor, and some questions related to how to improve the performance of the coprocessors. So there were certain questions on this, and then they have asked some questions on another project on real-time systems. They asked me to briefly explain about the algorithm based on which I have worked on the project. So yeah, and then they asked me about some analog questions, actually. Regarding analog, if you are really comfortable, you can explain them, or if you are not comfortable, you can tell them, like, you are comfortable with digital. So for me, but the questions they ask on analog depends on how you have attempted in written test. For example, if you have attempted nicely in written test, then they will ask you in analog also. So I was asked some questions. I told I didn't have working experience regarding analog circuits, and then but still they try to ask some questions. They try to know whether I am really good at basics of analog, at least. So yeah, that's what happened. And in second round, and it was around 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes around second round was. And then coming to third round was actually, the interview was done by the manager himself. So he asked about different projects, again briefly explain about different projects. And he also insisted to, like, whether I know FPGA very well or not. He asked some questions on that. And then he tried to check whether I have experience in designing the circuits. He asked me whether I have designed any circuits using FPGA, or without or during my BTech days, have I designed any small circuit, kind of that. And I have done some mini projects like that. So he asked me to explain about those projects and what are the components I have used and all. This third round was also moderate, and it happened for around this also happened for around 40 minutes. And he asked if I am really comfortable with C language also. If required, I need to work on C also. Coming to my last round of interview, it was HR round, and the HR round was pretty general, and I got normal questions like why Cypress, and some questions were on why I have chosen for higher studies, and whether I am comfortable for any location or with any profile I get. This is what basically HR. There were no tough questions in this. I'll explain regarding my interview preparation. So, regarding from embedded point of view, I'll explain. So the thing is like for every embedded engineer, uh, they will expect regarding the basic things they expect is regarding communication protocols, whether we are really good at it, and then which type of board we have worked on, and we need to be whatever the board we have worked on, we need to be very confident about that. We need to know, at least we need to know things which we have worked on confidently. So whatever the board would have worked, make sure you understand, you just browse through the internet regarding the board, and and see, and see what are the different features of the particular board. So these are the communication protocols, and things regarding board is one basic thing generally people expect from embedded engineer. And then usually we need to be good for any engineer. It has C is must actually. So so for C, as I said earlier, have gone through Geeks for Geeks. It is very good, and it is always better to have a knowledge on OOPS concepts also. So OOPS and C++. So for that also, I have gone through Geeks for Geeks. I think it is more than enough. And then and then it is good to have understanding about data structures. So I think for data structures, E. Balguruswamy book is very good. Uh, I have followed that book for data structures. So so these are the basic things which we need to know as an embedded engineer. And then for any interview, if we have, other than this, if we want to have some basic knowledge about VLSI design or something, VLSI Expert is one website. You can browse to vlsiexpert.com. So you can have all basic stuff regarding VLSI design, like which are being asked in interviews, like STA concepts, some combination circuit concepts like that. So this is one website which I have followed through. And then other than all this, what are the projects which you have put in the resume? Make sure you are really confident about it, because the questions will be mostly on the projects which you have put in the resume. And then for digital, other than what you read, like like I have gone through Morris menu. So for just for concepts, and for advanced concepts, I suggest you to see a website called ASIC World. So it has different advanced concepts of digital circuits. So you can browse through asicworld.com. And then it is good to have Verilog knowledge also. Whatever profile you're applying for, Verilog is also important. So in Verilog, you can follow Samir Palnetkar book, and also ASIC World. In ASIC World also, they have given each section, they have given each and every section regarding Verilog, some examples regarding Verilog language. So you can use that platform to understand Verilog. So these are the basic things which I have gone through. And one more thing for embedded, device drivers. Device drivers is one subject. Usually, you may not come across many questions from device drivers directly, but I can suggest that it is always better to have knowledge about device drivers concepts. Regarding myself, I have followed the lectures for the basic knowledge of device drivers. As per my understanding, I can say that recruiter, you were not allowed to select any profile basically, even though they give different profiles while applying. So based on your written test and interview performance, they will assign you some profile. So make sure you're really good at some profile, and in regarding remaining profiles, you just have basic knowledge.